Dad was a good businessman. He was fair. He believed in treating his employees and the farmers he was dealing with fairly, and he taught me a lot of good lessons. Started at age 11, working for $1 a day traying eggs and moving egg cases around. But the business grew and expanded during the 30s and the 40s, and Dad prospered. But by the end of the World War II, there was so much surplus capacity in the hatchery business that nobody was making any money, including my dad, and he wanted to liquidate it. I was in college at that time, and I saw an opportunity in this new broiler business that was just starting up down south. I felt it was worth a chance, and I thought that the hatchery business was a good entree to get into the broiler business, which it proved it was. So here am I, a second generation in the chicken business, granted in a much different manner than what my father was. But now, as my son Mike was growing up, he was also involved as I was early on in the business. So when I turned 65, and Mike had been in the business for 20 years, I looked in the mirror and said, "Don, this is time that you better make a move." So I stepped aside and Mike took over, and it's a source of great pride to me.
Well, my dad's, I think, very down to earth and humble and treats people with respect.
One of the things that I think is significant is Don's commitment to the communities that we live and work in. Don and his wife Arlene were instrumental in starting the United Way in St. Cloud.
I first met Don 32 years ago, and my impressions of him was that he was an honest and ethical person. The way he operates is that your word was gold, that you treat people right, that you're always competitive, and that we always needed to be innovative and continuously improve.
Over the years, we've been an innovator. We try to figure out what made sense, and we plow our own ground and figure out what works the best.
And we continue to find ways to add value to products, to make our products relevant, convenient, and easy to use for our consumers.
And some of the tools that we use for continuous improvement include lean tools, which are designed to remove waste from the business. Another tool is Six Sigma, designed to reduce variation in processes and ultimately in products. And other tools include our employee suggestion program.
This last year, for example, we've introduced a new line of chicken called Just Spare, which is first in the industry with traceability back to our growers. We have a recyclable tray, and it's grown from an animal welfare standpoint without antibiotics and veggie fed. But innovation has, I think, been a hallmark of our company, and that's something my father really instilled in all of us, including myself.
Back in 1983, when we acquired the processing plant from Armour, it was through a vision that Don had to become fully integrated.
We have the breeder flocks, we have the hatchery, the feed company, the processing plant, and the marketing. The basic reason for the integration is that by planning ahead, you can become much more efficient.
Probably one of the biggest risks that my father ever took on was establishing the grower contract, where we assumed the market risk. We paid a grower a guaranteed amount based on the size building and an incentive for the efficiency and the performance of the grower.
You know, early on, the growers were our bread and butter, and we worked hard to develop something that would be beneficial to them.
You know, I think it's a real point of difference that we have, and it led to us really seeing our involvement with the grower as a partnership, as a long-term partnership, in fact.
Our primary market was in the Midwest here, and southern chickens were constantly coming up, and we needed differentiation. We needed to something to tell the consumer that these were local birds, were raised on good Minnesota corn and soybeans, and we wanted the consumer to know it.
We led that off with, in the early 80s, with a number of memorable commercials, parachuting chickens and the Army chickens. At the time, that was a relatively large risk for us to take.
At the time that the commercial was proposed, I took a look at it and I thought, oh, this is just not going to work, and I almost vetoed it. Well, I didn't. And I still see people today say, oh, I know those. You remember one of the commercials when the chicken's coming down in a parachute?
Dad, see opportunities and take calculated risks to move the business forward in a way that would help us to continue to innovate and to grow and succeed.
Gold'n Plump is very interwoven with the farming communities.
When you look at the number of employees, the growers, and the fact that we buy over 8 million bushels of corn annually and use 80,000 tons of soybean meal, which is from soybeans, locally grown soybeans as well. So, you know, it's not just the employee base or grower base, but also the economic impact for the area farmers.
I've always felt that if you're going to be a responsible member of your community, that you have to give to the community. And over the years, we as a company and myself personally have been quite heavily involved in various activities in St. Cloud.
I think that example of giving in the community has really been instilled in all of us. And as a company, we give 5% of our pre-tax profits back to charitable causes. So as a result, we're part of the Minnesota Keystone program.
A few years ago, there was a fire at the Cold Spring plant, and it was a significant fire. And Don and Mike were standing there, and the discussion was, first of all, was everyone safe? And then secondly, how do we get the plant back up and running? And to me, that says a lot about the culture of the company and the culture that Don helped establish. That is about the people and about getting things going again, rather than placing blame.
If you want to call it a corporate culture, I guess you could call it that. I call it a kind of a caring culture.
One of my dad's favorite sayings is, with privilege comes responsibility. And with that, you don't take things for granted. And knowing that, you know, we have 1,500 employees and 300 growers that are dependent on the business, he always, anything he still does, takes that responsibility very seriously.
To me, success is being able to have people being proud of working for Gold'n Plump, proud to be a grower for Gold'n Plump, and the bankers being proud to be a banker for Gold'n Plump, which means we're making a profit.
I'm proud of my dad receiving this award. I think it's something that he's really earned over his lifetime of contributing to agriculture in Minnesota and Wisconsin, to creating a successful business in a very competitive industry, and treating our people, our growers, with fairness and with honesty, and at the same time giving back to the communities that we operate in.
The old saying goes, if you're going to be successful, hire somebody that's smarter than you are. And I really have to give a lot of credit to the employees, the managers that we've had over the years, and to the farmers that have been so cooperative with us.